Hey y'all, it's been a while since I've done a video. As you know, or most of you may know, I don't know, I'm a registered nurse, and back in the spring I had an incident and I just decided that I was going to semi-retire and get out of it. So that's what I did. I only work 12 or 24 hours a week now, and I've decided to get back into my videoing and cooking and cleaning and decorating and doing all the things that I love to do. So I'm glad to be back. And today we're going to make a recipe that my grandmother gave me. It's called tea time tassies. I've heard them called other things, Russian something or another, I think, maybe. I don't know. Little pecan pies, but they're tea time tassies. And I remember the first time she made these, I fell in love with them. I just thought they were the best things she'd ever made. So I try to make some every year, and I know it's a little early, but I think I'm going to get some made and put in the freezer so that I'll have them to go with the Christmas things. She also made, which we'll make one day, she also made a caramel popcorn, and my goodness, I could sit and eat the gallon bag full of that stuff. So we may try that too. It was very good stuff. So we have a lot to make, a lot to get ready. I still have some fall decorations up, which my intentions were this weekend to take down my fall decorations and put up the Christmas, but tomorrow it's supposed to snow, and today I'm busy in the house. So it might be Saturday or Sunday or even next week before I get to my Christmas decorations. But anyhow, we'll get to it sometime or another. So let's get started on our tea time tassies. Welcome to Stony Creek, located in wild and wonderful southern West Virginia, here in the heart of Appalachia, nestled between the Allegheny and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Join us as we explore a culture rich in history and historical landmarks, cooking mid-Appalachian style, gardening, DIY projects, and back porch sitting. Okay, we're going to start out with, you will need one of these small muffin tin pans. These are the smaller ones. They're not normal size. And we're going to just spray ours today. Okay, I'm going to set it aside for right now. Okay, and I want my pecans to be chopped, so let's chop them. I think it calls for a cup of chopped pecans. 2/3 to 1 cup, okay. So we'll chop these up. All right. Okay, we've got our pecans crushed, cut up. We're going to put them to the side. So first we're going to mix up our dough. And so we're going to combine a 1/2 cup of soft butter. I have unsalted butter. My grandmother would have used regular butter. Salted butter, either one that you want to use is fine. I have this in the refrigerator and actually wanted to use it up so it wouldn't ruin. So that's the reason I'm actually using the unsalted today. You can use either one. And then we'll take, it says 1 3-ounce package of cream cheese. So I have an 8-ounce package. So we're going to cut it. Actually, you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to double our recipe. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to use all of our cream cheese. I'm going to need another stick of butter. I don't want any of this to waste, so I'm just going to double it. I think if you, the regular recipe, if you make the regular size, it only makes about 12 of the tassies. So I'm going to want more than that. Anyway, so let's see if we can find us another stick of soft butter. There's half of one that we can use. And let's see. Here's another half. Now this butter is salted. Now, okay, and it says 1 cup of flour, which we will now use 2 cups. Let's get this mixing over here in our mixer. All-purpose flour. Our butter and cream cheese is now incorporated. Let's see if I can bring you closer so you can see down in my mixer bowl what we got going on here. Okay, so now we're going to add a cup of flour. Starting off slow so we don't make a mess. Okay, since we're doubling the recipe, we're going to add another cup. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get this off. So I don't know how the weather is where you're at. If you could drop me a comment and let me know. It's dreary today and cloudy. The sun has been out a little bit. They're calling for snow late tonight and in the morning, up to 4 inches here. So wintertime is almost here. The weather is sure acting like it. Okay, you can chill this if you want in the refrigerator. In fact, I have seen other recipes that do say to chill it. However, why is this? I have noticed that if you go ahead while they're warm and not warm, but not chilled, and press them in, they press a little bit better. So we are going to just put them in the refrigerator for just a few minutes while we make our filling. Then we're going to bring it right back out and press it into our tins. All right, we're going to mix our filling. It calls for 1 tablespoon of butter, but since we're doubling it, we're going to put 2 tablespoons in. I'm going to put a couple of eggs. We're going to mix these together with our mixer. You can use a spoon, a wooden spoon if you wanted to. I like to mix it because I think it distributes my butter better. It's supposed to be softened butter, and 1 tablespoon I had to get out of the refrigerator, so it wasn't very soft. So that's another reason why I wanted to use the mixer, so that it would distribute the butter more evenly throughout the batter. Okay, now it calls for brown sugar. It calls for 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Since we're doubling it, we'll put 2 cups of 3/4 cup. All right, there's 1. Just a little bit left. We're just going to put it in there and finish it out. There's not enough in that bag to save. Okay. Teaspoon of vanilla. And our chopped pecans. Okay. Just going to slightly mix these. When we were growing up, my brothers and I was born in 62. One brother was born in 64. One brother was born in 69. But we had absolutely wonderful Christmases. I mean, I just have the best memories of Christmas ever. They were wonderful. And of course, in the 60s is when the movies Rudolph came out. Frosty, those TV movies come out, and I still love, I'm 63 and a half years old, and I still love Rudolph. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time of year for us. My parents really went out of their way. My grandparents on both sides went out of their way. We just really had very, very good Christmases. My grandmother would cook, as she did on Thanksgiving and all the other holidays. But I remember also, too, that she always made my daddy a pan of fudge for Christmas. And she would give them to us early, and I can remember they were in, like, plastic containers of Tupperware or something of that sort. And she would put, maybe tin cans, but I remember plastic more than I do tin cans, but Tad and I would put it under the tree. And in order for Daddy to get a piece of fudge, he would have to get it from under the tree. But more than likely what he did, Daddy would say, Tamara, bring me some fudge. And one of us would bring him the container of fudge. But he loved it. And that was her little thing for him. She made it every year. I can remember every year until he died. Okay, so we have our dough. Let me wash my hands again. I also can remember that every Christmas morning, after Santa came and we got up, that my grandparents would come every Christmas morning over to our house to see what Santa brought us. And I have some pictures, old pictures somewhere around here packed away. I have one picture with all of them in there. My one grandfather, my mother's father, he passed away at a very early age. I was 3 or 4, I believe. He was only 49, and he passed away of a massive heart attack. So he's been gone for quite some time, but my grandmother and my father's parents would all come on Christmas morning. We get to show them what we got. And I can remember my mother was very creative with how she set up her Santa stuff. Or Santa was very creative. Let me rephrase that. Santa was very creative at our house. He would set stuff up that's a little bit too big. We don't want too big of a ball because... Okay. I remember one year I got a set of dishes. They looked like the blue and white Corningware. Had a little tea kettle and the dishes, the cups and the saucers and the plates. But my Santa Claus had set them out under the tree, displayed them beautifully. Beautiful. Good job, Mom. It was just to wake up and see all those dishes setting on my side of the tree. See, at that time, it was just me and Tad. Stephen wasn't born until 69. So at that time, it was just me and my one brother, Tadpole. And so he had half the tree. Santa left his stuff under half the tree. Santa left my stuff under the other half of the tree. And he had, I don't remember what all, cars and trucks and maybe a racetrack type thingy that went under the tree. We just had really good Christmases, and I just can't remember year to year. We got plenty. We got more than enough. We were spoiled. And I can remember Tad and I going outside or at night and looking for Santa Claus in the sky. And I didn't know what a falling star was at that time. I had no idea what a falling star was, but I believe that I saw one night because I believed that it was Santa. I mean, I said, Tad, look. I honestly believe, I can still remember it happening. We lived at Hilldale, and I honestly believed that was Santa, and Rudolph was leading the way. So either it was an airplane with the red light blinking, or it was a falling star going across the sky. I don't know. I was just 6. But just absolutely wonderful memories. And my dad is a little bit on the musical side. I didn't get very much of it. Tad and his son Reagan did. I didn't. But Dad used to play. He loved the guitar. And on Christmas Eve, he had Chet Atkins Christmas music. And if you don't know, Chet Atkins is a very famous, wonderful guitarist in that era. And it was beautiful, wonderful Christmas music. And I can remember he would put it on when it's time for us to go to bed on Christmas Eve, and we would fall asleep. Well, sometimes before even Christmas Eve. Maybe he would even play it, before. Start like a week or so before at night, and he would play the music, and we would all fall asleep to Chet Atkins, his beautiful Christmas music. So I had very good parents. I have very good parents, and I miss them both dearly. They left me way too soon. Way too soon. And then later on in the day, we would go to my grandparents and eat Christmas dinner with everyone. So share some of your Christmas memories with me. Let me know how you enjoyed your Christmas and how your parents made it special for you, because my parents really, really did. They really did. I miss it terrible. It was never the same when I grew up. I tried to make it the same for my children, but it didn't work the same. My husband at the time just didn't cooperate with me, and it just wasn't nearly as magical for my kids as it was for me, and I'm sorry for that. I wished I could have made it better for them, but I couldn't. I did the best I could with what I had. And we had a big picture at that time. It was called a picture window. People were putting in their houses. That was the in thing to do in your home back then. And we had one, and you could look out of it, and you could see all the neighbors in the neighborhood, and you could see all their beautiful Christmas lights down the road, up and down the road, the homes. And I can remember standing and looking out the window at all the beautiful lights of people out there, and their homes were decorated so pretty. And also my mother wasn't much of a cook. She didn't care about it. What I mean is we always had a good supper on the table. I don't mean that, but she didn't get into the baking and stuff at Christmas. My father's mother did. And we always got plenty from her. But my mother didn't make cookies. I didn't grow up making cookies at home per se at all. We always got them from my grandma. And she brought them to us. So share with me some of your Christmas cookies, if you cooked, if you got to bake with your mother, grandmother, or aunt. What part of the country you grew up in. I grew up here in West Virginia, which of course we have all 4 seasons. And so wintertime is wintertime. We have snow and ice and cold weather. We don't have as much snow as we used to. Tim and I talk about that quite often, because we used to have deep snows. We don't have them a whole lot like that anymore, which I'm not going to complain. I'm thankful for it. But this cookie dough is very, very simple. Butter, cream cheese, and flour. All-purpose flour. You want to use all-purpose flour. Chill it a little bit so you can make your balls. I've got some other cookies that I want to make this year as well. A little too big, maybe. Too much dough in that one. I love any cookies that has pecans in it. My granddaughter Avon, she doesn't like nuts, which is unusual because I love them and my mother loved them and my dad loved them. But Avon Margaret, she doesn't like them, so I'm going to have to make some that doesn't have any nuts in it for her. Okay, one more. I'm going to have a little bit of dough left over, and I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to put it in a plastic bag and put it in the refrigerator, and I can mix up another batch. I'll go to the store and get me another container of cream cheese. I'd like to make my own cream cheese one day. I have not done that or ever tried that, and I would like to. Okay, so this is what I use. I don't know what it's called. You'll have to forgive me, but this was my grandmother's. I have one. Mine's made a little differently, but this it's going to push out our dough into a little cup to put our filling in. So I like to flour it so it doesn't stick. And then you just simply push in the center. Make sure you're in the center. And there is your little cup. So we need to make all of these into cups, and then we'll fill it with our filler. If you don't get it centered, you'll have a side that's too thin. The walls will be thinner than the other side. I've done that a lot. So I try to make sure that I get it centered in the cup and in the dough, so that they come out just like that with your little hole in the center for your goodies that we're going to put in there. See? And then you just kind of rock it to come back out. Do the same with this one. And I'll be back when they're done. Okay, so we're filling into our shells. And you got to be careful. I tend to overfill them because what happens is the inside, the egg and the butter and the sugar melt and puff up, and they'll spill over the top. And if you can see this one, it's too full. I know it is. So I'll have a little bit of a cakey mess around that. But it will puff up and spill out. So that's why you can't overfill them. We're going to have more than enough filling left, so that'll be great. I can make another batch. Can't wait to eat one. These are so good. So buttery, pecans and the brown sugar. Oh my goodness. I hope I get to decorate soon. I guess I can go down there and get my decorations out in the snow tomorrow, but I don't want to, and I know I won't go out in it, so no sense in thinking about it. I don't care to go out in snow, even in the yard. I just as soon stay here in the house. Okay, I've had the oven preheated on 325. We're going to put them in and let them bake for about 30 minutes. Okay, baby. Okay, so I hope y'all give these tea time tassies a try, maybe with a cup of hot tea even, or hot cocoa, but they are delicious. They are so good. The cream cheesy buttery dough and then the pecan melted brown sugar and butter in the middle. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you try the recipe. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Good.